Good morning. It is 7:27 a.m. on Thursday, April 1st, 2021. I'm Christiana Ellison. I just got up. This is 5 more minutes. I'm not doing any April Fool's thing. I feel like I've talked about this last year, and I also feel like last year in particular, it felt a little bit like highlighting that, I don't know, maybe a lot of the stuff that people used to do for April Fool's Day is not actually that funny. I don't know. I don't want to yuck people's yum, I suppose, but I guess I just sort of. I know that last year, when everything with the pandemic and everything was still like, not that it didn't turn out to be just as terrible as we feared. Well, I mean, I guess it depends on what you feared. Turned out to be pretty not great for sure. But, April 1st last year, there was still a lot of unknowns about how bad it was going to be. And, I mean, in the scheme of things, it's certainly turned out a lot worse than it probably needed to, which is awful. But it's also true that we managed to get vaccines that seem to be effective quicker than what people thought it might take. And although I want to talk about that a little bit too, just not the vaccine specifically, but I guess the idea of when do we think this is done? So first, let me say that I'm better and not than yesterday. Like I will say that yesterday when, I took a nap and I had a healthy meal and I drank some water. Physically, yeah, I felt better for sure. And I think, it's, again, it's one of those things like when you can recognize that there's something chemical going on, it's like, or, just, physiological. That's how you need to respond. But it's also true that, and this is where these two subjects meet, I feel like, all things considered, I've tolerated the last year pretty well. Now, it helps that I had a lot of, advantages there compared to some people who had it much harder. Like I had a good job that allowed me to work at home for the most part. Got a dog to keep me company. I'm someone who is pretty good at entertaining themselves. Uh, and yeah, so I feel like I've had a lot of, advantages in that regard. But I think I am feeling something that I'm definitely seeing out there in others too, which is that it was one thing to kind of tolerate the quarantine and everything as it was just sort of ongoing and unknown. And, as another friend who I was talking to about this said, it's one thing when you're not looking yet for an exit and you just figure like it's going to be like this for a while, just kind of keep your head down and get to the next day. And, um, like not that you want to be in that state forever, but at least it's kind of stable. And then when you start looking at where we're at right now, which is great news, we've got vaccines. The vaccinations are coming relatively quickly now. Like, that's not to say everyone can get one yet, because that's not true. But it's also true that a lot of people are getting them. I got mine. I'm seeing more and more people talking about getting theirs, and they're making new progress. Like there's some indications that kids as young as 12 can tolerate the vaccines pretty well, and they're still effective for them too, which, before we really only had data for 18 and up, which is very good news, and all that sort of thing. But we are not yet where things can really relax, because like you see people wanting to do that and relaxing restrictions all over the place, and maybe some places that's actually fine if they have really low case numbers there, but there's a lot of places too where like we're seeing cases going back up again because people are kind of too eager to relax these restrictions. And I don't even want to necessarily get into whether that's smart or not, because again, it's going to depend on what's going on with your place locally. But I think what it comes down to is the recognition that, like I said, it was kind of stable when it was like, okay, we're just all doing this for a while. We'll check in again later. But now when it starts feeling like things maybe kind of will start to get better, but at an uncertain rate and with unknown complications, somehow it's getting stressful again in a way that it hasn't been for a while. And I don't know, I'm I don't know that that's the only thing going on, but that's certainly part of what's going on for me. Anyway, I guess I'll leave it there for now. Like I said, I want to reiterate, taking care of my physical body helped me feel better yesterday, and I'm going to keep doing that. So I will talk to you all tomorrow for 5 more minutes.